Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And with my kitchen remodel nearing its completion, I'm still unable to really get into figure customizing and dioramas and all the things that I like to do. The reason why you come to my channel in the first place, and I apologize, but we're getting close. I'll be back up and running with new content very soon. But in the meantime, I thought it might be fun to take a deep dive into an older part of my collection and something that's very special to me, and that is before I was a Black Series collector, I was a vintage Star Wars fan, Kenner, and I was a kid back in those days. And then I was a young adult when the Power of the Force 2 line came out, and I had a lot of fun enjoying collecting selected figures from that line. Not the least of which is one of my all-time favorite collectibles, and that's the Power of the Force 2 Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. Hyperdrive. Why do you like this figure so much? I don't know. I just do. I love it. There's something about the cloak, the green lightsaber. I enjoy the figure packaging variations and some of the variations of the figure itself. Back in the 90s, Kenner and the 4-inch line, they were made from so many different factories all over the world. There were crazy variations and even minor and not so minor ones. And so it's always been fun, a hobby of mine to collect down a figure that I like and then see if I can get as many variations as I can. So first of all, I'm going to clear this off and we're going to go over the old school packaging. Now the first package that came out, this was the beautiful, I think everybody can agree this was something special about this packaging. This was the red lightsaber variation, and then the card, the actual file card of it looks awesome. It almost has that G.I. Joe style call-out card, file card, and then this has the trapezoidal photographic sail barge Luke Skywalker call-out picture, and then down on the bottom of the card it has that classic logo. It's got the 00, it's got the 00 serial number. So this was the original card, and you'll see the serial numbers change as we get into this. And then of course, the other coolest thing about it is this is really before the age of the internet. This was right at the dawn of it. And you can see that it says join the official Star Wars Club 1-800. They wanted you to call. It wasn't like an online registration thing. So that's pretty cool back in the day. So that kind of takes you back a little bit. And then what they did was about a year and a half later, they made a running change to the card. And what they did was they changed to the green packaging, and then they added a holograph to it. And so the holographic green card, that's pretty cool. It's got the same file card. It's got different figures for sale on the back. And the card is similar because now it says Kenner, but now there's a website. Join the, what is it? I think it's like Hasbro.com or StarWars.com. So they had updated the internet and in the middle of this line, and now you can join the Star Wars fan club, and there's like some call out information there. And the interesting thing about this one is now the serial number is 01. Now, another interesting thing is that they made a return back to this one, and you'll notice the difference. So the 01 card is the holographic, and then the 02, they returned to the green packaging, and now they have the standard picture again. So if you notice, this one here, this has a 02 serial number, Kenner, and the updated card, the cards are identical. It's the same on this card, it's the same file card as the other one. Now, then fast forward another maybe year or two, maybe not even, maybe another 6 months, and the Star Wars Special Edition came out in movie theaters when George Lucas updated all the effects. Say what you will about those, but this was when that entered the movie theater, and now they made a special Luke Skywalker release of Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker on the green card, but this time they have printed on the side this beautiful logo, Star Wars Special Edition, Star Wars Trilogy, Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. And this is interesting because they gave this away. You didn't even have to buy it. They gave it away with the purchase of a movie ticket. It's got the Kenner, the vintage Kenner logo at the bottom, as it always does. And then on the back, it says 00. That is the number there. And then also it says not for resale. This was not for sale necessarily. This was a give out. I believe it says on the bottom there, where does it say? So somewhere on here, it says not for resale. So this was a very special thing that the movie theaters were passing out. And I remember tracking this down and having a good time. The other thing that was interesting about it is that they updated the file card. Now it's a picture of Luke Skywalker in Jabba's palace with the cloak on. And I always love that. And there you can kind of see, well, not so much in this picture, but you're going to start to see some changes in the figure itself as the line goes on. So those are the 4 carded versions I have. Now these are not nearly all the carded versions that there are. There's foreign release cards, tri-logo cards. There is not a freeze frame one. So a lot of people identify Power of the Force 2 as the freeze frame figures with those little projector slides that came with them. Jedi Luke does not have a freeze frame. So I've never found one. I've never seen any evidence of one. It's not labeled anywhere. But there are some other interesting foreign release cards. And someday I'd like to track those down. But now getting into the loose figures that I have. So we talked about the orange card being the initial release. And I said in the beginning that this was the second version of the initial release. And what you'll notice on this particular figure is that the lightsaber, if you look at the lightsaber, if you look carefully at the hilt, the 3 rings in the middle, they protrude past the cylinder of the lightsaber hilt. This is the updated running change. So this is the second version of the lightsaber. You'll notice that the tunic that he's wearing under the cloak is black, and the cloak is black. But now you're going to start to notice that there's another version of this figure that came on the red card, and you can see very distinctly that his tunic is very gray or brown. To my eye, it looks brown. To other people say it looks gray. You'll notice that the lightsaber is the second version of the lightsaber with the same rings as the one that's on the carded version. The rings stick out past the cylinder diameter. But here is the same figure. This is the black cloak version with the 3 indented rings. So all of these came on red cards. The brown version, but this lightsaber, oh, excuse me, no, I've got the wrong one. Hold on. This version is the one. That's what I meant to say. So you can see clearly the difference in color on the tunics. One's very brown gray, one is very black. The cloaks are black, but there's a change. So this figure here has the original lightsaber. In the original lightsaber, the 3 rings on the hilt do not protrude past the diameter of the lightsaber hilt. On this one, they do. That is very definitely a variation and one that a lot of collectors try to hunt down. Neither of them are particularly difficult, although I would say that this one, because it's the initial release and it was changed to this one's harder to find. You're not going to spend a fortune for it, but it is an interesting variation. So those are the 3 versions of the original 00 card that I have. That red, these are all from that packaging. Then we move on to these figures. Now, these figures here are figures that came in the green packaging, and they're identical in every way, with the exception of I wanted to talk about just one other figure variation. So the lightsaber hilt variation is a noted variation, and then the cloak, there is actually a recognized variation where one factory, I believe it was in Macau, they had a run of Jedi cloaks, and there's a blue hue to them. It's a very, very, very almost dark navy as opposed to black. I have seen it once. It's definitely noticeable. I do not own a copy of it, but it is definitely something that would be fun to have one day, and it's something that a lot of Power of the Force 2 collectors try to hunt down. So the lightsaber variation, the tunic variation, and even the cloak, there are definitely variations of all those things, not to mention the card. Here's one last look at it. So you can see these are the figures that I have. Some kind of cool variations and things. I don't collect Power of the Force 2 anymore other than these Jedi Lukes. If I happen to run across a Jedi Luke variation, I pick it up. Now, recently in a video, I showed that a buddy of mine, Dave, sent me a box and it had like 20 different Power of the Force 2 figures in it, and I love those. One of them was in the box, as a matter of fact. It was, I believe, this one here. That one came in the box. So I just very recently updated this collection. The only other Power of the Force 2 figure that I really collect to this extent is the removable helmet Darth Vader. That's a great figure. And that's really it. So Darth Vader with the removable helmet and Jedi Luke, those are what I focus on for my Power of the Force 2. Thank you so much for looking. I hope maybe you found this kind of interesting. I know it's, again, it's not Black Series, but it's definitely Star Wars. And I thought maybe you might enjoy a deeper dive. Thanks, as always, for the support, and we'll do it again soon.